Hello Pisces, and welcome to your reading for May the 10th until the 16th. We are going to be looking at some current energies, some other factors that may be impacting, spirit guidance, some possible outcomes, and also a Beyond Lemuria oracle card for you at the end. So please, as always, take what resonates and discard the rest, okay? Because these are general readings. Parts may resonate and parts may not. Just to keep that in mind. And also, if other meanings for you come up with these images on the cards, please note that down and do a little look into it a little bit for yourself. And also, let's just call in the archangels, ascended masters, light beings, and any other spirit guides and or consciousnesses and collectives vibrating with that unconditional love frequency that would like to be part of this reading and to provide us with assistance. Would be most grateful. Also acknowledging the presence of our higher selves as we go through this reading to help us sort out what we need to pay attention to and what we don't need to pay attention to. Okay, so let's for you Pisces, we're going to grab some current energies now. Just cutting the deck. So here we go. Knight of Pentacles, lovely. The Lovers, awesome. And the Fool, wow. So you're going to be taking a bit of a leap of faith, and it's looking like it's either going to be a relationship or something for yourself, okay, so that you can come into a greater connection with yourself or your feminine and masculine aspects, okay. And here you are, the Fool, taking a leap. And here we have the Knight of Pentacles. So it's a slow, so the other vibe from this is that you may be you might be feeling that things are, you've just been humming along and then something's happened where you've either realised or you've met someone or whatever, and then you're just like, wow, I just want to jump into that. Possibly. Let's see if there's some other factors impacting. Knight of Pentacles is just slow, steady movement, possibly on the work front. Maybe you've met someone at work, or you've literally met someone while you've been out in the garden planting your seeds. Who knows? We can read these cards very literally, or we can read them metaphorically or symbolically or whatever. And take what resonates, of course. And yeah, so let's look at some other factors impacting for you, Pisces. We have the Judgment or Awakening card. We have the Three of Wands and the Emperor. Right, I really love the images on these cards. They're so colourful and beautiful. Now, this is you thinking about your next project. You've made a decision, but you're contemplating now the steps and the phases, or how you are going to put this into action. So this might be in reference to your leap of faith here that you're kind of looking to do. And it might be that part of you wants to leap and a part of you is kind of like, hey, I think I'm better just take things slow. But I think what's fueling this is a really, we could use the word infatuation, or just an overwhelming feeling of love and inspiration. And it might be something that you are wanting to do personally, or it might be someone that you've met that is inspired and uplifting you, okay? So here you are just going, how am I going to navigate this? Am I going to jump in, or am I going to take it slow, And yeah, so you also have other factors impacting is you're going through your awakening, and you're also feeling kind of a bit masterful, and you've kind of got your structures around you, and you are feeling quite sort of solid within yourself. So you've kind of got, you're actually feeling in a pretty good space at the moment, Pisces. So it's kind of looking like if this is a possible connection with another person, you're also just kind of looking at it. It's almost like in the past, you might have just decided to not do it at all or to jump in. But now it's looking like the other factors that are impacting is that because of awakening, it's like, well, you are considering it as a possibility from a position of strength now. Okay, rather than from a position of I desperately have to have that and jumping in, or I'm not worthy of it and I'm not going to do it. So you are in a strong position here of the Three of Wands. You are, and this is almost you too, like you're strong and doing your own thing here. So you have a sense of individuality, a sense of spirit connection, and your sense of your soul. So you are wanting to kind of that's another energy that you're bringing into this potential connection, either with yourself or with someone else. So it could just be that whether you're a man or a woman or whatever gender, it's just coming into connection with the receptive aspects of yourself as well as the projective aspects of your energy. Okay. And the Lovers is sort of that Gemini card too. So it's, a partnership. Maybe it's a potential business partnership, or maybe it's a collaboration on a project or something like that. That's another definite possibility. Let's look at some spirit guidance for you, Pisces. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups. Okay. So the interesting thing here is that the spirit guidance is that it's sort of saying that, okay, there's this, potentially perhaps this person, female or male or whatever gender, the potential partner here. Obviously we have the Lovers, and this is a card here about love and romance. It could be that this person has good intentions. However, they could be like, it could be kind of like a bit of a seductive energy, and maybe they are kind of people that, they're all about the chase and kind of, and getting you kind of about the emotion, the build up of, having a new connection. They may not necessarily be in a connection for the long haul. And it's also about a bit of a warning as to if this is about your own personal growth, is to just be aware of whether or not, if it's unbridled enthusiasm, that you are not going to be able to sort of balance with, some practicality. I mean, this is what the card that's sort of next to that, and this is about your practical self-care. So it's kind of saying that, this is important. Okay. This by itself, okay, is a little bit like saying, well, I must have a connection with someone else, because if I don't, then I'm alone and I'm unworthy, and, I really need a connection for someone to make me feel good and feel loved. Okay, that's what this aligned. But next to this, okay, it's like going, well, okay, I can have a connection, but I also need to be mindful of that connection I have with myself. And this is what I believe the Lovers here. This is a partnership. So this is a very interesting, similar reading to Pisces, actually. It's almost looking like this self versus other, like coming into this understanding almost okay, I've just got this phrase coming in, which is almost like it's like a higher frequency quality of relationship that we will all be moving into. And that is coming from a stronger base of, as we said before, about being here in our strength and in our whole souledness and in our self-care here, and then going into a partnership or an intimate connection, as opposed to just, jumping in blindly, and or just being, I'm just going to romance and I don't care where it goes, or I don't care how the other person feels. I just want to, feel good with that person. I want them to make me feel good. And here we have this card also in your spirit guidance about the Eight of Pentacles, which is about work and stability. So it's really interesting that in your spirit guidance, you have, this is like a very stable card, and this is not so stable. It's more like extreme emotions of, like, perhaps, what am I trying to say? Like the infatuation kind of energy that can be short-lived. Okay. I'm not saying it's not good to be infatuated, but it's just saying this depending what you're looking for. If you're looking for a longer term, deep, meaningful kind of connection with someone, or if you're looking for something that's more superficial. I mean, everyone, you know, there's no judgment and people are free to choose. But according to the reading here, it's kind of drawing our attention to this idea of balance, because we have the stable and the more kind of not as stable. There are pluses and minuses for stability as well. You know, sometimes stability can be boring. So it's about getting that good balance, okay? And here we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is like kind of being grounded, but being free to express, being free and open. So this is almost like that balance point of, I have my bases covered. I kind of know who I am. I'm in alignment. And I'm also free to express myself and to be romantic and to be, you know, to go with the flow or whatever. However, I'm going to be doing that from a place of strength rather than a place of neediness or desperation or a perception of lack. Because when we perceive that we are worthless unless we're with someone, that's when we are probably going to get a lower quality connection, depending if we get lucky and we have to get someone who is, you know, has our best interests and can sort of help us to go through the personal growth we need to go through. And this is a position of strength too. Okay. So, right, that's my bit of a ramble. And so, yeah, so the Eight of Pentacles can be about spirit guidance. Is just saying that, you know, that relationships can be work, and even going through an awakening is not easy. There is work, there is dedication, there is focus and commitment required. Okay. But we, you know, if we can give ourselves those gifts, then it's worth it. Possible outcomes for you, Pisces. Yeah, so the Knight of Cups is actually just saying, you know, just to be aware of people that are trying to talk you into things or trying to overwhelm you emotionally, you know, like the people that gush all of the compliments, or they are like you just go, hang on a minute, this is, you know, particularly when people are uncomfortable to talk about themselves, but they talk about you all the time. Or the other way around, all they can do is talk about themselves, or they might be in love with themselves and they don't give you space or time to talk about you. Okay, so it's all about balance. So possible outcomes, we have the Four of Cups, okay, the Four of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. So, yeah, this is kind of looking like a relationship reading. So possible outcome is that, you know, you may just want to keep to yourself. You might, after this, having this connection or experiencing the type of person that this is, you might just want to, you know, decide to, yeah, I'm just going to keep to myself. And here, this is almost like there is now this is interesting, because can you see that red light coming down there? And she's sort of facing these cups. So if this has been a connection, one of the outcomes could be that if we place all of our hopes and dreams on this connection here with this other person, if, for example, they don't make us feel a certain way. But what we could be missing is that over here, perhaps this is the cup of our soul, the cup of that idea that we can come into greater connection with ourselves first. You know, we come into whole-souledness, okay, into a position of strength and balance as we awaken into our true selves and our true souls, okay. This might be the cup here that we actually need to focus on first, okay. So, and the other thing here is the Six of Swords. That is about, you know, if And once again, if we attempt a connection with another person and it doesn't work out, it may or may not be because we haven't done the work on ourselves. If we've done enough work on ourselves, okay, and it might just be that the other person is not, is not a resonant match, then you may, it may require to just kind of move on from that. Or if it's a case of we do need to work on ourselves a little more, it's really like this boat here is moving towards this, now I'm coming into the Mist of Avalon now for some reason. There's a boat basically going to this island in the middle of, I think it's what is it? I think it's Avalon. So, but it's basically, you can imagine that if you need to work on yourself more and you discover that, it could be like, well, I'm going to move away from the relationship, and now these birds are going to tow my boat to this island or to this place, visionary in meditation, where I'm going to do my soul work, where I'm going to go through my awakening and come into contact, find out who I am. A lot of these pictures on these cards are solitary. It's really interesting, except for this one here. We don't have any groups of people on these cards. So this is about either you and your higher self, or it's about your divine masculine and feminine aspects within you, or it is about you and another person. So whichever of those scenarios resonates the most for you at this time. This could just simply be going, yeah, I'm actually just going to work on me. Okay, that's one outcome. This one is that, okay, well, I really want my relationship to, or the relationship hasn't worked out, and now I probably need to start, just turning my head a little bit and looking at this other cup of my soul work that I might need to do. And that's not to say that every relationship you come up against that doesn't work means that you have to do soul work, okay? It can just mean that if you are easily led and easily drawn into, perhaps, easily drawn in by compliments and, all that type of thing, and then you find that this person, is gone within a week with no explanation, then maybe that is a case for working on ourselves, not because there's something wrong with us in the relationship, because we cause them to go away, but more because perhaps we need to build up the strength and the boundaries to be able to discern, first of all, to be able to discern that, well, we need to get to know this person a little longer before we start investing in them emotionally, before we start revealing all of ourselves, all of our aspects of ourselves to them, okay? So that then we don't just feel like, we're not leaving ourselves open to being used, basically. And unfortunately, there are people around that just wish to use other people's, and they just feed off of the emotion. So it also means that if that other person has done that, then they need to work on themselves too, of course. But, and I mean, this sounds like the voice of judgment coming from me at the moment, but, take what resonates, okay? This is a very take what resonates reading. So if you are needing to, and this can actually be a card, this can actually be also to do with your judgment and awakening. Basically, that boat is being towed towards, the island or the place within you that is perhaps needing more self-love and self-care, aka the Nine of Pentacles. Okay? About loving ourselves unconditionally and not just relying on someone else to do that for us, but for us to generate that for ourselves. Okay, unconditional love in all of our aspects, and being intimate with our own soul, and just sort of feeling quite strong within that as well. Let's look at Beyond Lemuria. And that beautiful Fool card at the start too, it's very much about, source connection. So I'm just looking at that, and that is guiding me to just think about the inner child as well. You know, and you might also like to look at, you know, when you were a child, perhaps your, yeah, you know, your family of origin, what happened then with your, you know, when you were a child, with your relationship connections, okay? Were they nurturing and upbuilding and uplifting for you, or were they the opposite? And then just see if when you go into new connections with partnerships with other people, do you repeat that pattern? Do you look for people that are supportive of you, like perhaps your family of origin were, or do you look for people that are perhaps more distant or, you know, not supportive and encouraging, but you gravitate towards them because that's familiar to you? Okay, but it doesn't, on some level, it doesn't necessarily make you feel loved, right? It's not because it's because, yeah, when we grow up as children, we can actually be conditioned to believe that what's going on around us is normal, and that's the way things are, and that's what we have to put up with, and that's what the world is like. But it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so let's grab a Beyond Lemuria card for you, Pisces. Apologise if I've rambled a bit today, but please, as I'm going to say again, just discard stuff that does not resonate, because I'm aware that some of my personal judgments are coming on this reading. I apologise. And here we have communication and co-creation. And the interesting thing here is that this is a great balance, because I did mention that all of these cards, they just have individual figures. There's no groups of people, but except the one with the two. And now we have a group of beings here, okay? Co-creation. So let's read that, because in Scorpio's reading, a similar theme came up where it was like, you know, if we only associate with one other person and we don't really socialise with groups of other people that kind of lift us up, then we're really kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, if I can say that, because we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to expand our soul experiences. Which I guess I'm talking about then, you know, relationships and isolation. However, please take what resonates with that. Some people are more than happy to just hang out with their partner and not other people, and that's absolutely fine. No judgment there. Now, 21. Oh, okay, right. Here we go. Right, 31, we're up to 20, 24, 23, 22. Here we go. Apologies, that took me so long. Okay, non-verbal communication. These are the key words for this card. Okay, non-verbal communication, love language, telepathy, unique ways of communication, light language, multi-dimensional information, community coexistence, relationships, meeting our higher selves, and really seeing someone, and deeper listening. So meeting our higher selves, and it could even be what this is about. So maybe this is indeed what the reading is, on meeting our higher selves, because it also has the awakening in here. That's what we are awakening into, a greater connection with our higher selves, okay? Okay, so we normally think of information as something that can be written or spoken. But if something is multidimensional, it is almost impossible to share it with words. I feel I have quite a lot of this information in my field now, and yet my intelligence cannot fathom it. Metaphor or song may hint at its vastness, but it is more like a reminder or catalyst that encourages something to stir inside the listener. So let's have a look at the divinatory meaning. That was just another first paragraph here. I think I might just read the divinatory meaning. How are you communicating beyond words? Perhaps you are being misunderstood because there is a dissonance between your words, actions, and behaviour, and what you mean to communicate. Words are like spells, so be conscious of what you say, as you may be verbally sabotaging your intended meaning. Also be reminded that words can mean different things to different people. Something may be getting lost in translation. An issue may be cleared through improved communication. Listen carefully to what someone has to say without interruption. Furthermore, it may feel scary to share vulnerable truths, but this may be the only way forward. This card also encourages greater exploration in the realms of telepathy, healing, and the arts, such as poetry, painting, and music, where there is collective communication beyond the mind. It also says here, as we evolve our conscious awareness, we start to pick up on information such as what those around us are about to say, or that which the universe is trying to tell us. Okay, so, I mean, we might even, Pisces, at this point, just say that, you know, this reading, it's really kind of up to you as to whether you resonate with the idea more of, you know, like a new connection with another person's presenting to you, or whether it is you coming into your higher self connection and feeling strong with that, and also acknowledging that, you know, there is work. It's not all roses, okay? Which is interesting because I said, you know, it's not all roses, which is holding roses. But we need to remember to ground when we're doing that, if we're going through our awakening. And that, you know, sometimes we are going to feel like this, like our cups are kind of thing here. But what we need to remember is that we need to tap into source here. We need to tap into spirit. And especially if, you know, our thoughts are becoming more like we just want to escape, or we just want to, you know, not deal with our awakening and not deal with these other energies coming in, is to really just try and work on some transcendence strategies, and also to just remember that it might not be a time, depending on what resonates. Sometimes when we go through transition into spiritual realms, it may not be a time to look at cultivating, depends where you're at in your awakening, okay? If you're just starting, it may not be a time to start focusing on cultivating wealth and putting your efforts into a lot of making money. And the reason I say that is because this is here, which is just sort of suggesting that to just kind of make do with the basics for a little bit, possibly, if that resonates, or to cover your bases financially. Because once you go through awakening, you come into more awareness of yourself. You come into more contact with your other talents, gifts, skills, and abilities, which you could then start sharing with the world. And how you do that may affect the ways in which you can generate income. And it will certainly, once you've done enough of your soul work and understanding, you will feel more empowered to move through and sort of release more into, you know, like a Nine of Pentacles energy rather than the Four, or certainly, you know, like a Knight of Pentacles here. The thing is here is there's still movement forward, but it's slow and progressive, okay? And I think this is probably a really good card for you as well, whether that be in relation to a new connection with another person or a potential partner, or whether that be to do with your own inner self and your inner connection and awakening, is to literally just move forward slowly, take those little steps, plant the little seeds, just keep your awareness, you know, just to be wary of possibly people that are aware of lower vibrational frequencies, like, you know, coercion and that type of thing. I'm not saying that all romantic connections are coercive, okay, but you need to be sure of your energy, of where you're at and what your feelings are, because if you're empathic, you may just be taken along by someone else's admiration of you, and you might be just saying, oh, this feels really nice, I'll just let this person, whatever, and before you know it, it's like, well, have I actually been true to myself? Do I really like this? Do I even know this person? Do I really like them? And, you know, that might be when you're like, well, you know, it just wasn't worth it, and now I'm just going to look at this cup here. So take what resonates, Pisces, and yeah, and don't forget that, you know, we are all in this together, and to co-create, looking at your creativity. The Pentacles are very creative too. So yeah, creative collaboration can definitely assist. So I hope parts of that has resonated. If not, just discard the whole lot. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day and a great week, and I'll see you again, Pisces. Bye for now.